Welcome back to the channel, my brothers, or welcome to the channel if this is your first time. If it is, have a listen to this video. It might just help you out in your dating life, because I'm going to tell you how women tell on themselves, and if you pay attention, how you can read all the signs that are there in front of you. So let's get into the video. My name's Andy R, and this is the Brotherhood of Men, a channel solely dedicated at getting you men out there a better outcome in your lives. Today, as I said, I want to talk to you about how women tell on themselves. And they do, without even opening their mouths, without you being introduced to them or even talking to them, approaching them. You can tell so much about that woman because she's already telling on herself. So what do I mean by all of this? Well, let's get into it. A woman who is showing who she is on the outside. They can't help themselves. It's a subliminal message that they're sending out to the world. This is who I am. This is what I am. And you can tell a woman's body count without asking her friends, without checking social media to see what she's been up to. She's already telling you. I'll tell you how. If she's got piercings in unusual places. So, normal piercings on the ears for earrings, that's common as anything. It's been around for many centuries, earrings have. But if she's got piercings in place that you wouldn't expect piercings, so she's got them in her eyebrow, in her nose, especially if she's got them through her septum, if she's got them in her lips, in her cheek, all places on her face that you wouldn't automatically expect a piercing to be. Although they've become far more common nowadays to see women with these piercings, they're actually telling a story. And the story is, stay away from me. I'm not completely stable. I'm a little bit broken. I've probably got 1,001 Chad bodies behind me. You don't really want to get involved. These women don't realise they're sending these signals. You've not even spoken to her. The second thing is hair colour that isn't found naturally. So if it's a bright red, a postbox red, if it's green, if it's... Who was born ever with green hair? If it's blue, if it's purple, if it's got those streaks of colours in, again, she's sending you a message that I've done this because I'm a little bit broken. If she's got those two things together, she's sending even more of a message. I'm even more broken. You shouldn't waste your time even talking to me. Then we get to the tattoos. A woman wears tattoos as kind of an armour. Each tattoo is telling a story about how she was broken. I've never met a woman who's got no tattoos, who's got a horror story in her past about some Chad that dumped and pumped her. I've met many women who have no tattoos, and they seem well-adjusted women. But I've also met a lot more women who've got a lot of tattoos, and one thing I can say in common is they don't ever come across as well mentally adjusted. They've always got some horror story about some guy in their past. They've always got some story about a dating horror. They've got some story about some sexual horror. They've got some story. They're already telling you those stories without you talking to them. I've talked to these women and I've heard the stories. But the funny thing is, all it's done for me is back up a theory I've already had. That you look like a mentally unstable person because of what you've done to yourself. It's a form of self-harm. Now, years ago when I was young, it was a thing about, women self-harm, cutting themselves, self-harming. Oh, it was a terrible epidemic. And women actually jumped on the bandwagon to get attention, going, I cut myself, I'm self-harming. There was nothing wrong with them. It's because it was in the papers, it was prevalent at the time that this was becoming an epidemic among young women who were self-harming, that other young women would jump on the bandwagon to get sympathy from their friends, but more importantly, from men. I just used to look at them as though if to say, what is wrong with you? Not that I was unsympathetic, and at the time I was probably 14, 15, and I'm thinking to myself, why would you do that to yourself? I've cut myself working, doing stuff, playing, and it hurt. And you're deliberately doing this to yourself, and then come and tell people about it with tears in your eyes to more or less say, feel sorry for me. Well, no, you did it to yourself. Same with the tattoos, the piercing, the hair colouring. You did it to yourself. And you're telling a story to any man who meets you. And the story you're telling is, I'm not very mentally stable. I'm not well adjusted. I'm probably not going to be a good fit for you. Move along. See, they tell on themselves without even opening the mouth. You can see one of these women walking out. Well, you'll see more than one of them. You'll see a plethora of them because they have all been railed through. They've all got high body counts, and they're telling you with the message, they're screaming loud and clear across their faces and across their bodies. Now, why am I telling you this? Because you probably already know this. Is because look to the future. Men are always looking to their future, looking to build something better for their future. And part of that usually is, even if you're complete MGTOW, men going their own way, if the right woman can, be honest, leave in the comments down below, if the right woman, a well-adjusted soulmate came along, you would give up the MGTOW life like that, because we all really want to have somebody in our lives that we can mash with, that we can gel with, who we can call our woman. And so few women are our women because they've been so many men's before us. Why would they be ours? It's not yours, it's just your turn. She's not your woman, it's just your turn to have a go on her. And women don't seem to understand this. All those horror stories they're telling about all these ex-boyfriends, these ex-Chads, these ex-Tyrones, Hefes, Leroys, you know, all of these guys that have railed through her and dumped her, and then she's crying to her friends going, I can't find a decent man, and oh, where have all the good men gone? And they're in your friend zone. And any man who finds himself in a woman's friend zone, I'm doing a video about this very shortly, in fact I've already recorded it, it's just a case of when I release it, telling you how to get out of the friend zone, what you need to do as a man, and why you're in the friend zone, and to be quite frankly, it's your own fault. You did it to yourself. But that's a video for future, sorry, so don't miss out on it. Hit the subscribe button. That way you won't miss out on that great content. And it is going to be packed, it is packed full of information that you, once you take on board, will improve your life no end. So back to how women tell on themselves. They can't help it. They just can't help it. Even if you find yourself attracted to one of these women, you will find that what she really isn't a girlfriend, a fiance, wife material. She is practice material. She's a practice girlfriend. That's all she is. And these women don't realise that. That's why they can't find a decent, good man, is because they are everybody's practice girl. They haven't realised that's their role now. They're screaming it loud and clear. I am not well mentally adjusted. I can't stay in a relationship, hence all of the failed relationships behind me. But I have no problem attracting men to sleep with. Yes, you're attracting men to sleep with you because you're the practice girl. They're practicing their technique, their chat up, their sexual prowess. They're practicing on you. You have become, imagine a loaf of bread, a nice sliced loaf of bread still in the packaging. At two ends, some people call them ends, I call them crusts, the two ends of a loaf of bread. These women are the ends of a loaf of bread, the crusts, because everybody fingers it, but nobody eats it. It ends up getting thrown in the rubbish bin, in the bag still, the two ends, that's all that's left in there. Everybody's ran their hands over it, but nobody's popped it in the toaster or made a sandwich with it. That's what these women are. They're practice girls. And I'm going to do a video on practice girls. In fact, I've already made it. Again, it's just a case of releasing it, doing the editing. So watch it. Watch what it tells you and how to treat these women. Because she's going to have another horror story about, oh, he just used me, I became a pump and dump. Why is that? Because you're a practice girl. You're not a keeper. You've shown all of your past failures in your hair, your piercings, your tattoos, all those acrylic nails. Women who do no job or very poorly paid jobs seem to have the longest acrylic nails. That tells a man, I don't expect to have to work. I want you to provide for me. Well, you're a practice girl. Why on earth would I provide for you? You're not mine. It's just my turn. You see, women are telling on themselves. And this is before you've even spoken to them. So when you speak to them, all of that past trauma comes tumbling out. Oh, I hope you're not going to be like my last boyfriend. Why are you telling me about your last boyfriend? I don't know him. I don't care about him. Why are you telling me? I'm here to talk to you, not to hear about everybody else who's been through you. You've just made yourself very unappealing for me. You're the end of the bread. I don't want to eat you. I don't want to keep you. I'll throw you away in the packet. You're just telling me that you're now a practice girl. So that's how I'm going to treat you. Yeah, I'm going to chat you up. I'm going to practice on you. I'm going to practice my chat-up lines. I will be your next story to tell the next guy. Why would I put up with it? Now, I've had some criticism about me and my channel in the real world of women who've said to me, you just want to control women. Of course, the woman who said this had brightly coloured hair, tattoos and piercings. And I said, why would I want to control women? All I want women to understand is that they can't control me. And that's a message you guys need to drum into your own head. It's not about controlling women. It's about not being controlled yourself by women. Because when you meet and when you find the right woman, she won't be trying to control you. She will be trying to add to your life. She will be a support to you. And it's a reciprocal arrangement because you'll be a support to her. As I've said many times, I've been with my woman for 25 years. She knows she can't control me, but she also knows I'm her biggest supporter when she does something that I think is a really good idea. I'm behind her 100%. If she comes up with an idea that I think is not going to work out, or if I think, hang on a minute, that means a lot of work for me for something that I don't think is good, I will argue that point to make her rethink that decision. And if she still wants to go ahead with it, I tend to say, okay, do it, but don't come crying to me when it falls flat on its face. Once again, letting her know I'm not going to be controlled by her bad decision. Now, the flip side of that is, if I come up with some crazy idea and she says, if it's really what you want to do it, but don't come crying to me when it falls flat on my face, I instantly start thinking, well, maybe she's got a point, and reevaluate, and we come to an agreement that either I am still going to do it, or, you know what, you were right. That's not either of us controlling the other. That's us talking things out and coming to a consensus. If you're constantly talking things out with a woman and constantly being talked out of things that you think or even know are a good idea, that's you being a simp. That's you being somebody who hasn't got the backbone to follow through with your own convictions. So I'm never trying to control women. I just let them know, subtly or directly, that you can't control me. And that's what every man out there needs to take away. You're not trying to control a woman, you're just letting her know she can't control you. But you also need to read the signs of the woman before you even get with that woman. If she's covered in all of these tattoos and that, and tattoos, that's an interesting one as well, because tattoos have different meanings. Tattoos on a woman, have different meanings. Tattoos on a men do as well. It used to be a tribal thing. It used to be a rite of passage many centuries ago in different tribes that you got these tattoos, that you became a man or became a woman. But not in the Western world. In the Western world, the tattoos were job related. A lot of sailors would have things like anchors and that, because it was saying that I'm secured at port, I'm safe, or they would have mermaids, or they would have anything that was very much superstitious in the sailing trade. Boxers and such like would have things like swifts or swallows tattooed on the hand. It showed that I have fast hands. They all meant something to a man. Daggers and such like. All of these things, military tattoos. Men used to tattoo themselves because it was about their life. Women used to tattoo themselves. Women didn't used to tattoo themselves. In fact, they were in freak shows. The tattooed lady. You know, they were shown off with bodies full of tattoos because it was an anathema to the male eye, to females, to, oh, what's she done to herself? Nowadays, these women seem to think that this is natural, but it's not. And it's the kind of tattoos they have as well. Women have got so much into this masculine energy and trying to be like a man that they've started tattooing their bodies. But they, invariably, if they're trying to make a strong, bold statement, once again, they go to men or male in their tattoos. Have you ever seen a woman with a lion tattoo on them? Or a tiger or a jaguar? Insert your feline of choice here. It's never a lioness. It's always a lion with the big mane. That's male. They're saying, I want this to show that I'm strong and that I'm independent and that, you know, I'm fierce. And no, you're showing that once again you're trying to draw on male strength to show that you're strong. But you haven't got a man in your life. And it's the same with jaguars and tigers and panthers and all the rest of it. They're always male ones. Even wolves. Oh, I've got this wolf because, you know, I'm a lone wolf. I'm howling at the moon. That's a male wolf howling at the moon. Do you see what I mean? It's never a female wolf with cubs. Oh, that's my goal. That's what I want to be. You know, the head of the household with my kids. And if it is, it's just the female with the cubs. There's no male wolf there. So they're already saying that my future goal is to be a single mother, telling a story. All of these, and then you get the scattergun tattoo girls. She's got one on her arm and one on her shoulder and a tramp stamp and one on her thigh or ankle or one on the back of her leg. Nothing's joined up there. It's scattergun. It's scatological. It's showing the thoughts of the mind are not joined up. Again, telling you a story. Now look to the future. If you're looking to build a cohesive, coherent future with a woman, if you're looking to move forward, to start a family, to settle down together, to have something that it could be classed as a unit together instead of two individuals, how's she going to look in the future? I mean, you're a young man, say. Do you think you're going to introduce this tattooed mess to your future boss that you're looking for a promotion from? You go to her works do. She's got the lovely cocktail dress on, you know, the thin straps, or even strapless. No sleeves on, and now she's showing, you're showing the world, this was my choice. This was the woman I chose. How do you think the older generation, the ones that are looking at your promotion prospects, are looking to move you up in their company, are going to look at your personal choices? I don't think it's going to be very favourable. Now let's look at the family side of it. You do choose this scatological, this emotional wreck of a woman with all the tattoos and the piercings and the hair colouring and such like, and you end up having a child with her. Little Jimmy grows up, goes to school, gets in trouble at school because, let's be honest, his home life, his mother, isn't the most stable, because she's already told you what emotional state she's in with her body art, with her message she's screaming loud and clear. So she gets called into the principal's office. He rings up and says, we've had a little trouble with Jimmy, can you come down to the school? As soon as she walks through that door, with the piercings, with the tattoos and that, do you think the principal, male or female, is going to go, I can't understand why he won't settle down, why he's so disruptive in the class? Or is the first thought he's going to be, oh yeah, I see why now. Yeah, I see what's happening. If that's what he's coming from, I'm not surprised that he's a disruptive kid. But she's still going to sit down and have the chat, and how are things at home? Is little Timmy getting on all right? Jimmy, little Leroy, is everything okay? Would it be possible for his dad to come in and have a chat with us? Because they're already building up a mental image. An image they're reading as clearly as you should be right at the beginning, and you just do what every other man before her has done. Use her as a practice girl. But like I say, that's a future video, and you don't want to miss out on that, because there is a lot of information in there for you to learn from. So hit the subscribe button. At the very least, if you've enjoyed this video, if you've got something from it, give it a like, because it does help. Anyway, my name's Andy R. I'm going for a cup of tea because I think I've earned one. You, my brothers out there, you take care of yourself, because if you don't, who will? And I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.